The new Ferrari is out, and after my last video, which you can see there up there in the corner, it got a lot of hate because especially of the front design. Its resemblance to Aston Martin Vantage is very clear. Some of you even called it Ferrari Vantage, which I find adequate. But is it a copycat, or are modern cars becoming more and more alike for some other reasons? Reasons like laws, regulations, aerodynamics, and simple fact that we are at the peak of perfection in designing the cars. In this video I will try to answer that by comparing those two magnificent cars. So let's dive right in. Number 1. The front end design. So let's start with the big one, which is the front design. As you can see from the shape of the headlights and especially the grille, Ferrari borrowed a lot here from Aston, and it has a striking resemblance to the Vantage. Ferrari could do a bit better as they are world famous for the car design studio, especially with the grille, which is shaped remarkably similar to Aston's. In their defense, however, I have to mention that design in recent years is very similar in a lot of new cars, simply because of the fact that aerodynamics and pedestrian protection that is required by European laws. The bonnet has to have certain shape and angle to minimize damage to pedestrian's head in case of an accident. And the sheer lack of new ideas, maybe because they already reached perfection, who knows? But the design, at least of those holes, could be different, especially because Ferrari has great heritage of those beautiful grilles. Number 2. The side profile and dimensions. So now let's look at the side design and dimensions in general, because that would give us an idea of why are those cars so darn similar. So the total length of the car is around 4.5 meters in both cases, and the wheelbase is also the same at roughly 2.5 meters. Why are they so nearly identical? Looking at other sports cars like Porsche 911 and Audi R8 and similar, it seems to be the perfect size for the car to have great handling at high speeds and also in the corners, and on top of that still manage some sort of practicality. As you can see on the side profile of these cars, they both have very similar shoulder lines, very similar bulges over the rear wheels, and generally the aerodynamic silhouette. So a lot of cars are designed this way, and it's a bit hard now to find something unique, something different. Although once again, Ferrari could have done a bit better because they're world famous especially for the design. Number 3. The rear view. Now let's take a look at the rear, which is very distinctive in both cars, and maybe the only side of the car that Ferrari lovers can honestly say it's different. And again, that might be because the rear is not so heavily manipulated by laws and regulations to protect the pedestrians. The lights in Ferrari, although not round, but at least there are 2 on each side, and look vastly different than the longer style ones on the Vantage. Also, the middle section on the Aston is raised and shaped to integrate the spoiler. From the midsection down to the bottom, however, they are again quite similar, especially around the license plate and the diffuser. Number 4. The price. This is where it gets serious for people that decide between those two cars. How do you even decide between them two? For me, the decision will be based on price and the engine note. We'll get to the engine next. The Aston is way cheaper than Ferrari, starting at around 150,000 euro, whereas the Roma starts at around 200,000 euro. You won't see any of those two too often on the road, so that 50,000 euro is the price you pay for the nicer badge. Is Ferrari badge really worth 50,000 euro more? That's a price of a BMW M2. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5. The engine. Let's hear it for the Ferrari. now the Aston. This is where Ferrari really shines with an engine that won 4 times the title of the best engine in the world. You can't go wrong with that. Aston, on the other hand, has an engine borrowed from Mercedes, which is also one of the nicest sounding engines of all time. My top 3 engines will be that V8 on Ferrari, V8 from Mercedes, and a V10 from Audi. In terms of engine, honestly both sound amazing, and it's a personal preference which one we like more. So there you have it, 2 very interesting cars, very similar in many aspects yet different in some ways. Which one would you have and why? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching and enjoy the ride.